Now on CoastTV News.
Limited parking problem.
It can be really frustrating.
How Lewis is attempting to address the ongoing issue as we are 2 months away from the paid season.
Do More 24. The Day of Giving in Delaware ends tonight, and we have the updated totals and donations aimed at helping nonprofits.
Well, you guessed it. It's another morning we're tracking fog on the peninsula, especially at the coast. So use some caution out there this morning. It's not as dense and widespread as yesterday, but it's a gloomy Friday. But there's a nice warm up that everyone's going to like heading into the weekend.
Drone ship strike. The latest moves by the U.S. military as the war with Iran reaches 1 week.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Zaccarelli. Thank you for joining us on Friday, March 6, 2026.
Yeah, we got some foggy conditions out there, so let's get a live look. We're going to first go to Rehoboth Beach. We have the boardwalk area, and we've been tracking this camera for the past 3 hours, and actually, we've been seeing conditions improve a little bit over that period of time.
That's right, Matt. As the sun is coming up, we're going to go about 28 miles to the south. This is a look from just moments ago, high above Ocean City. This is a look at Coastal Highway around the 94th Street area. Not as foggy down here, but you can see that condensation gathering on the lens of this camera right here. So it is a bit of a damp start to our Friday morning.
Okay, let's check out the roads in Sussex County. We have our photographer, Tyler Ritson. He's driving along. This is Robinsonville Road. This is west of Lewis, and you can see fog clearly not an issue there. Clear skies and clear road for that. Maybe not like clear skies, but definitely not fog in place. So,
and you still want to use caution though whenever you're driving.
Yep.
It seems like our fog is kind of clearing out this morning. We're not going to see a whole lot of sun today, unfortunately.
Now, I do want to make a note here because we had school information that had not been updated, so that we had a number of delays on our website. What we're recommending is check with your individual school district to see what they're operating under today. A number of them are actually under the normal hours, specifically the Indian River School District. So check with your individual school districts as to what the status for them this morning is.
And now we're going to turn to First Alert Meteorologist Chris Mastrobono for a look at our forecast on this lovely Friday. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, guys. Hope your morning is off to a fantastic start. Yeah, we were tracking some fog. We had some pretty dense fog overnight, especially across coastal Sussex. That has since dissipated. Most of the fog we're seeing right now is across portions of Somerset and Worcester counties and right along the bay there in portions of Dorchester County. But the fog this morning, more patchy in nature, and the best chance to see that fog will be along the coast. 46 right now in Cambridge. We're at 45 Laurel, 40 in Rehoboth Beach. We're beginning to see that northeast wind flow kick in, and that's going to keep us really socked into the cloud cover. We had a batch of rain that pushed across the northern portion of the peninsula overnight, and we have this pesky front stalled out over the mid-Atlantic, but that is now acting as a backdoor cold front that has pushed through the area. So overcast skies across the area today. We struggle to get out of the upper 40s, lower to mid 50s across the eastern shore. Your latest weekend forecast is just minutes away.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this hour, Do More 24. It's underway, and there's still plenty of time for you to donate.
CoastTV News reporter Elisa Weber is in our newsroom. Elisa, you spoke with the Selbyville Library, who participates in Do More 24, and this event is helping to continue to provide resources to the community.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. There are 12 more hours left in Do More 24. This will end at 6 o'clock tonight, so you still have plenty of time to donate to those charities and organizations that mean the most to you. And according to the Do More 24 website, over $670,000 has already been raised. In order to find organizations that are participating, you can check out the Do More 24 website. Do More 24 Delaware offers thousands of dollars in unrestricted funding and other cash and non-cash incentives to provide a little excitement, start some friendly competition, and help donors make their dollars go further. We spoke with the Selbyville Library, which is a nonprofit. They participated in Do More 24 for the past few years, and they say this day helps them raise money to continue their services.
Libraries are an underfunded resource in Delaware. They are really doing a lot more work because of the growth in the area, and there is just so much that we take on to assist our communities. And we are also in the midst of a literacy emergency, as our governor declared.
And again, you have until 6 o'clock this evening to donate to Do More 24. Also, make sure you check out the leaderboard that is on the website to see how much each organization has already raised. Back to you.
Thanks, Elisa. So let's take a look at some of those leaderboards in the large nonprofit category. The Food Bank of Delaware currently has raised almost $26,000. ClearSpace Theater Company has raised over $14,000, and the Brandywine Valley SPCA has almost $8,000.
An 18-year-old from Rehoboth Beach was hospitalized with critical injuries after this motorcycle crash on Bay Vista Road. According to the Delaware State Police, around 3:15 Thursday afternoon, the motorcycle was driving at a high rate of speed and flipped over after a sharp turn. You can see the motorcycle ended up underneath this Chevy truck. Troopers say that Bay Vista Road was closed for about 2 hours following the incident.
New this morning, Lewis officials are set to tackle limited spots for your car in the downtown area. The parking working group's meeting later this morning, and one topic the city is researching is a residential parking permit program. Now, here's what they're doing. Lewis is looking at other areas with similar downtowns like Rehoboth Beach and Bethany Beach to see how their systems work. We actually spoke to Gaia Coffee Company owner Ben Messino, and he says he has experienced the parking pains.
It can be really frustrating, especially when your staff's trying to rush to work and stuff and they can't find anything. They have to park, maybe at the library. It has happened a few times because there's no closer places.
And it's important to note the working group will focus only on parking downtown. That committee's meeting in just a few hours at 9 a.m.
The Sussex County Land Trust is announcing that Shell Brothers has made a $1,000 per lot donation. The donations are from its Channel Point development in Fenwick. Sussex County Land Trust says that the money from those 70 homes will support efforts to protect farms, forests, waterways, and open space in Sussex County. And for more information on that announcement, you can head to the article that's on our website now, CoastTV.com.
And we're now giving you a live look at Cambridge this morning near the banks of the Choptank River. We're nearing that time of the year that the blue crab industry ramps up. And later today in Annapolis, there's a bill that lays out consequences for fishing under certain circumstances without license. It's getting a hearing in the General Assembly. It's House Bill 1304. It was brought up last month, and it requires the Department of Natural Resources to suspend the commercial or recreational fishing privileges of certain people charged without having a license. That hearing is taking place in the House Environment and Transportation Committee.
The national battle over redistricting taking center stage in Virginia. This morning, starting at 8:30, Virginians will have the first chance to vote on a Democratic-led redistricting. Currently, Democrats hold 6 of Virginia's 11 U.S. House seats, but the proposed map redraws districts in a way that could ultimately give them a 10-to-1 advantage. The referendum, if passed, would empower the General Assembly to redraw districts ahead of November's midterms. And leaders on Virginia's Eastern Shore say that a potential change in representation would slow progress on local priorities.
Red tape and different things in there that prevents you from doing business or makes doing business a whole lot slower. And we can't continue to run on things like that. We need to get in there, vote in the person you want to vote for, and get the business done.
While early voting takes place today, the referendum is set for April 21st.
U.S. Central Command says American forces have struck a key Iranian naval vessel. It was early this morning. U.S. military reporting that a drone carrier was attacked and set on fire during multiple strikes. Video released by Central Command shows black and white footage of the vessel burning at sea. Iran's military has not immediately acknowledged the attack, and Tehran has provided few details about its losses so far. The ship is a converted container vessel that Iran officially unveiled in February of 2025. And we're now taking a look this morning at Washington, D.C. Got some fog conditions there as well around the Capitol. President Donald Trump announcing that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will no longer head that department. President is naming Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma as her replacement.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how the move caps off a tumultuous year in which she oversaw the president's increasingly unpopular mass deportation agenda.
He's made it a cornerstone of his Make America.
This morning, Washington and the nation reacting to President Trump firing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem following a string of controversies as she led the administration's immigration crackdown.
She has completely destroyed the high ground that Republicans had.
I am so happy that one of the worst administrative leaders I've ever seen is gone, but the agency itself is still reckless and out of control.
The Department of Homeland Security right now operating in a shutdown, with Democrats pushing to overhaul ICE and Border Patrol. President Trump praised Noem's work sealing the border, while a White House official pointed to mounting frustrations behind the scenes, culminating in a Capitol Hill grilling this week over a $220 million border security ad campaign that featured Noem prominently.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
In a new phone interview with NBC News, President Trump said of the ad campaign, quote, "I wasn't thrilled with it. I spent less money than that to become president. I didn't know about it." Noem was also widely criticized over her handling of the deadly Minneapolis shootings by federal immigration officers and her initial comments accusing Alex Preddy of domestic terrorism, despite video contradicting that. President Trump tapping Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin as the new DHS head.
There's an opportunity to build off successes, and there's also opportunities to build off things that maybe didn't go quite as planned. So.
Mullin will need Senate confirmation and is promising to reach across the aisle. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New overnight, the Delaware Division of Motor Vehicles warning people about a text scam claiming to have toll debts. The agency says that it will never text you requesting you to click on a link to make a payment, and people can report their suspicious text messages to the Federal Trade Commission or to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center.
Single lane traffic coming to Tidal Health in Salisbury. The healthcare organization says starting March 16th, part of West Vine Street is getting reduced to one lane. It's the area located between Waverly Drive and Patterson Road, and officials say the change is related to construction for its emergency department expansion project.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of CoastTV News today.
Coming up, Maryland minimum wage. How much of an increase is part of a new proposal?
Also, new digital health tool, the goal of a new Delaware system focused on mental health.
And Foundation honors fallen state trooper. Now the Tyson Foundation says it will support families. Stay with us on CoastTV News today.
Well, we made it to Friday, Delmarva, and it certainly has been a gloomy week to say the least. As we take a look into Lewis here, we see the cloudy skies, 41 winds are relatively calm. Not much in the way of fog. We had some pretty dense fog across Sussex County a few hours ago. That has since burned off. Most of the fog is now down through Worcester County. We had a round of showers overnight. Those have since cleared out, and we're going to be stuck in the cloud cover, all thanks to a north to east wind today. 44 right now in Salisbury. 37 in Lewis, 38 in Bethany Beach. Now, the temperatures are going to be on a big time, going to increase big time here as we go into the weekend and then into early next week. We'll talk more about that, plus some more rain chances coming up in that 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. And the Wilmington DMV is reopening, but with an appointment system. This will be happening Tuesday, March 10th, starting at 8 a.m. And the reopening follows a months-long closure after Delaware State Police Corporal Matthew Tysnook was shot and killed at the DMV before Christmas. Officials say that the appointment-only system will remain in place for at least 1 month.
It's important to note a new nonprofit is being formed to honor fallen state trooper Ty Snook and to support families facing similar loss. The Ty Snook Foundation is being created to help the spouses and children of fallen officers and troopers across the country. It builds connections, shares experiences, and finds lifelong term support.
The Dagsboro town is now seeking volunteers for newly forming Business Development Committee. The town says the goal of the committee is to attract new business while still preserving the town's small town charm. Those who are interested in being a part of the committee can contact Mayor Jason Russell.
Tracking patchy fog out there this morning. Not all that widespread like we had yesterday, but not much in the way of sunshine for our Friday, with temperatures struggling to get out of the 40s and 50s. But there are warmer times ahead. I'll have that forecast for you coming up next.
Time is 6:19, and we're giving you a live look at the morning scene at the Roosevelt Inlet in Lewis. Before we get to Chris, just want to make a note. There's with school delays and that type of thing with the fog situation. Check your individual school district for what is happening today. Indian River School District operating under normal hours. A number of them are. So just make sure you check with them before you head out the door. And Chris, it's going to be a little damp if people are heading out the door this morning.
Yeah, I wish I had some better news on this Friday morning. As we take a live look into Cambridge, we've been dealing with some patchy fog in and across Dorchester County. Nothing all that as dense as what we had yesterday. Right now in Cambridge, we're holding at 46 degrees. Winds are relatively calm. You can see it's primarily along coastal Dorchester there along the bay. And then we're beginning to see some fog develop southern portions of Worcester County down through Accomack County. Now we are dry as far as any rain is concerned. We're at 41 Long Neck, 42 in Georgetown, 40 Lewis. Light winds out of the northeast, and that's going to be the wind flow today. We had a round of rain push through the northern portion of the peninsula up through Philly, Baltimore, and South Jersey overnight. But we are primarily dry. Most of the shower activity back off to the west. It's this pesky storm out front. Now a backdoor cold front that has pushed through the area, and that's going to keep us really socked in the clouds and temperatures. 40s at the coast, 50s inland and across the midshore, but we do rebound pretty nicely over the weekend back in the 60s and 70s. So we stay socked in the clouds, maybe a few breaks in those clouds, southwestern portions of the peninsula, but you know the drill by now. We'll see a few areas of fog develop overnight into our Saturday morning. So our Saturday starts a bit on the gloomy side, but we should rebound by the afternoon. So there's the wind flow out of the east today. As we go into Saturday afternoon, we'll switch those winds more out of the southwest as we go into the afternoon. So cooler along the coast, especially across Sussex County, temperatures in the 40s. Milder across the southern portion of the midshore down through Crisfield, where we'll have highs in the lower to mid 50s. So we start our Saturday rather gloomy. We'll rebound into the afternoon. The cloud, this particular model, holding the clouds a little thicker through the day, but I do think we will see clearing skies by the afternoon and breaks of sunshine. Then a cold front's going to bring a chance of showers late Saturday in through Sunday morning, but by the afternoon we should dry things out. Again, we are going to be setting those clocks ahead an hour. Yes, losing an hour's sleep. Make sure you do check those smoke detectors as well as those carbon monoxide detectors. But the good news is, yes, sunsets after 7 o'clock, more daylight, right? And we're going to see more warmth as well. Early next week, in fact, we could be challenging potential record highs as we go into Wednesday. And we're looking at cooler temperatures by Thursday with a cold front pushing through.
All right, thank you, Chris. Delaware is rolling out a new digital tool, and the goal here is to help providers coordinate behavioral health care more efficiently. According to the state, this secure system gives instant access to a patient's recent treatment history. It's everything from hospital visits to counseling and crisis care.
For a provider that has a responsibility to coordinate care, that information being just right in the computer, you open it up and you can look up your client and see where they are. It saves so much time and it will save lives.
State officials say the platform first launched internally last summer before expanding to contracted providers across Delaware.
Delaware pride and a little St. Patrick's spirit. That's this weekend on Delmarva. Stay tuned for your cool things to do. Maryland workers could soon see some larger paychecks. The state's minimum wage currently sits at $15 an hour, but new proposals in Annapolis could bump up minimum wage to $18 or even $25 an hour. The Living Wage for All Act would raise hourly pay every year until 2030. That's a 67% increase in just a few years. Supporters argue that it would help workers keep up with rising prices, but business advocacy groups say that kind of jump could mean fewer jobs and higher costs.
These employees that could be making $25 an hour, they're either going to have less hours or they're going to have to find a new job because these employers are not going to be able to keep on all of the employees because of these added costs.
Supporters say raising wages can reduce turnover and boost spending, but opponents argue that employers on the lower shore may respond by cutting hours, trimming staff, or raising prices as the legislation moves forward.
Good Friday morning, Delmarva. Remember this time yesterday we couldn't even see the boardwalk in Ocean City or the rides. Right now in Ocean City we have those overcast skies, 40 degrees, and we're going to have a lot of cloud cover today from Ocean City to Fenwick Island. And with that onshore wind, it's going to keep temperatures generally in the mid to upper 40s at the beaches. And there you see Lewis and Rehoboth, all cloud cover today with some spotty drizzle late in the day. As we go into Cambridge and Crisfield, this is the area where we'll be a little milder into the mid 50s with maybe a few breaks in those clouds, but for the most part, the clouds are going to outweigh the sunshine on Delmarva today. Congratulations, Peggy Shockley, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, for winning an umbrella from Coast TV. We will talk about finally some milder times ahead as we head into that weekend.
All right, the clocks spring forward on Sunday, and that means we lose an hour of sleep this weekend.
So you may want to make the most of the time that you do have. Here's Rashida Robertus with the cool things to do.
The Milton St. Patty's Day Parade kicks off downtown at 2 p.m. on Sunday, and before that, there's a 5K race that's at 11 a.m. starting at Irish Ice. On Saturday, 302 Horseshoe Crab and Dogfish Head celebrate 302 Day from 11 to 4. That includes food trucks, live music, raffles, and giveaways, plus the release of a special 302 lager beer.
We're hoping that this day continues to be known as like a true start of the warmer, busier season in coastal Delaware. We're really proud that Delaware State Parks is our beneficiary for the event. They're going to be auctioning off a couple of black tag, highly coveted license plates at the event.
The Lewis Public Library is hosting historian David J. Silverman for an America 250 author talk exploring Native American history and race in the United States. That's on Sunday from 5 to 6. Or if wellness is on your weekend list, the Delaware Resorts Health, Fitness, and Leisure Expo takes place Saturday at Cape Henlopen High School from 9 to 3. And in Ocean City, the 10th annual OC Film Festival continues all weekend. Screenings will be held at multiple venues across town, plus special events and opening and closing parties. For more details, you can visit CoastTV.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Now on Coast TV News.
Biker badly injured. What we're learning from investigators about this serious crash in Rehoboth Beach.
Day of Giving nearing end. Some of the donation totals that are being made available in the effort to help Delaware nonprofits.
Angler accountability, the penalty in a Maryland bill that targets people fishing without a license.
Well, you guessed it. It's another morning we're tracking fog on the peninsula, especially at the coast. So use some caution out there this morning. It's not as dense and widespread as yesterday, but it's a gloomy Friday. But there's a nice warm up that everyone's going to like heading into the weekend.
This is Coast TV News Today.
It is March 6, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Ackerley. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay, we've been tracking the fog this morning. It's not as intense as what we were dealing with yesterday, but there's still some spots out there. So let's get a look on our roads right now. This is Seaford. This is moments ago, Route 1320 at the intersection there. You can see not too bad. It's not the clearest of morning, but it's actually improved a little bit since we checked this about an hour ago.
Right, Matt, lots of people getting started on their morning commutes this Friday. Now let's check out those conditions in some of our beach communities. This is a look out into Ocean City, Maryland. You can see one person taking a nice morning jog on the boardwalk. And the ocean is looking nice. Not too much fog this morning, but we are going to see some cloud coverage you can see in this camera here. And now let's take a look at some of the road conditions along our coast.
Yeah, we had western Sussex County just a moment ago. Here's the eastern part, and we have our Tyler Ridson at the wheel of the first alert weather Jeep currently on Coastal Highway, and things looking okay there. Not a lot of fog situation. It has improved a lot since the early morning hours.
And it's definitely a lot nicer than it was yesterday.
Absolutely. So it's 6:33 a.m. because I know when you came in, very foggy.
Yes.
You had extra
specifically driving from the area of Lewis towards Milton. You could definitely tell it was foggy. We were using extra caution on your commutes. And so just be careful and keep a lookout for the fog.
But it has been improving throughout the morning. Chris Masterbone has been tracking this as well. He's also tracking a cloudy day today for this Friday. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Wish I had better news for you. Wish I had your 75 today, but unfortunately, we're going to be far from that today on Delmarva. We'll take a live look into Lewis here. We have the gloomy skies, fog, not really an issue here. 41. We had the fog roll in late last night across the area coming in off the Atlantic. 42 right now in Georgetown, 44 in both Salisbury and Seaford. So we're going to have an onshore wind today. So that's really going to bring in a lot of moisture in off the Atlantic and keep the cloud cover locked in across the area. We had a round of rain overnight, primarily to our north. Actually, a few lightning strikes were reported just west of Baltimore last night, but most of the area is dry at the moment, and we're going to stay relatively dry through the day today. You see this backdoor cold front has now sunk southward throughout the entire peninsula, so temperatures are going to be holding into the upper 40s for most of the coast and really for most of southern Delaware with those overcast skies. Areas across the mid-shore, Salisbury on southward, will touch the lower to mid-50s. We will talk about 70-degree temperatures coming up in that 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. Our top story this half hour, Do More 24. It's underway, and you still have plenty of time to donate.
Yeah, our Lisa Weber is in our newsroom, and this year Do More 24 is looking to top the amount of money that was raised in 2025. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Everyone has until 6 o'clock tonight to still donate to Do More 24 and support those causes and organizations that mean the most to you. And according to the Do More 24 website, we just checked right before our show went up, they've currently raised over almost $800,000. So those numbers are looking fantastic. And in order to find organizations that are participating, you can check out the Do More 24 website. Do More 24 Delaware offers thousands of dollars in unrestricted funding and other cash and non-cash incentives to provide a little excitement, start some friendly competition, and help donors make their dollars go further. We spoke with Spur Impact, a leadership and community engagement nonprofit, who says last year Do More 24 raised a total of $2.5 million, and this year the event hopes to raise even more.
The reason to donate during this specific day in Do More 24 Delaware, your dollars will go further because there are sponsorships and prizes that match your dollars that are donated. If every person in Delaware donated just $5, then we would surpass our goal.
Again, everyone has until 6 o'clock tonight to donate to Do More 24. Also, make sure you're checking out the leaderboards to see how much has already been donated. Back to you.
Okay, Lisa, let's take a look at those leaderboards. We got the small nonprofit category here. So Dello, that's the Southern Delaware Orchestra. They have just over $17,000 so far. Shepherd's Office in Georgetown has raised over $13,000. And then there's the Milton Theater in at just over $3,000.
New this morning, Lewis officials set to tackle parking issues downtown. The parking working group will meet later this morning, and one thing that the city is researching is a residential parking permit program that looks at other areas with similar downtowns like Rehoboth Beach and Bethany Beach to see how their systems work. It's important to note that the working group will focus only on parking downtown, and officials will gather in just a few hours from now to discuss at 9 a.m.
An 18-year-old from Rehoboth Beach hospitalized with critical injuries after his motorcycle crash on Bay Vista Road, according to Delaware State Police. This happened around 3:15 Thursday afternoon. That's when the motorcycle was reported to be going at a high rate of speed. It flipped over after a sharp turn, and you can see the motorcycle ended up underneath a Chevy truck. Troopers say Bay Vista Road was closed for about 2 hours during this response and also the cleanup effort.
We are now giving you a live look into Cambridge on this Friday morning as the sun is coming up. This is near the banks of the Choptank River, and we're during the time of year that the blue crab industry really ramps up. Later today in Annapolis, a bill that lays out consequences for fishing under certain circumstances without a license, and it's getting a hearing in the General Assembly. House Bill 1304 was brought up last month. It requires the Department of Natural Resources to suspend the commercial or recreational fishing privileges of certain people charged with not having a license. The hearing is taking place in the House Environmental and Transportation Community.
And we are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. Cabinet changes taking place in the Trump administration. Kristi Noem no longer heading the Department of Homeland Security. New overnight, President Trump announcing that Noem is stepping down, and Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin from Oklahoma will receive that nomination to replace her.
According to a social media post from the president, Nome is moving into a new role as the special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. That's a new security initiative that the president says he will announce about soon. Nome has been under fire since those deadly shootings of 2 U.S. citizens by federal agents during immigration operations in Minneapolis.
There's an opportunity to build off successes, and there's also opportunities to build off things that maybe didn't go quite as planned. So
Mullen will step in as secretary, assuming he's confirmed. That would be effective March 31st. This comes as the House passed an appropriations bill on Thursday, and that is to fund the Department of Homeland Security through the end of the fiscal year.
The national battle over redistricting taking center stage in Virginia. Starting this morning at 8:30, Virginians will have the first chance to vote on Democratic-led redistricting. Currently, Democrats hold 6 of Virginia's 11 U.S. House seats, but the proposed map redraws districts in a way that could ultimately give them a 10-to-1 advantage. The referendum, if passed, would empower the General Assembly to redraw districts ahead of November's midterms. And while early voting takes place today, the referendum is set for April 21st.
Single-lane traffic coming to Tidal Health in Salisbury. The health organization says starting March 16th, part of West Vine Street is going down to 1 lane. The area is located between Waverly Drive and Patterson Road, and officials say the change is related to construction for its emergency department expansion project. And we have a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, a science fair for Delaware students. The special guest expected to be at today's event in Georgetown.
And Cape Cruises, we have that fourth quarter surge that propels the Vikings boys basketball team to the next round in the Delaware State Tournament. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
Friday morning on Delmarva. Hope your day is off to a great start. A live look in through Ocean View where we're seeing cloudy skies there. Fog hasn't been much of an issue there this morning. We had some pretty dense fog overnight. We're at 39 there. Most of the fog now is currently across Wallops Island and some across coastal portions of Dorchester County there along the Chesapeake Bay. We did have a round of showers overnight, but just those have now since dissipated and we're seeing just cloudy skies at the moment. We're at 40 in Ocean City, 46 into Cambridge. Persistent east wind will be with us today, keeping the area locked into clouds and very cool temperatures, well below average across the coast, mid to upper 40s. As we go into more of the interior portion of the peninsula across the eastern shore and mid shores, we will see temperatures in the lower to mid 50s. And as always, you can call our Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. I'll have your 7-day up next.
New this morning, there's a focus on protecting drinking water. It's coming to the Delaware beaches next month. The 2026 Drinking Water Partnership Summit's taking place April 21st in Dewey Beach, and it's hosted by the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Program, along with the Office of Engineering and the Office of Drinking Water. Organizers say the summit will feature experts' presentations, networking opportunities, and interactive breakout sessions.
Happening today, a chance for young scientists to showcase their research. The Sussex County Science Fair will take place at 8 a.m. at Delaware Tech in Georgetown, and organizers say that the activity highlights independent research projects. Students will start by explaining their research to judges and then participate in an award ceremony. Special guests include the Delaware Secretary of Education, Cindy Martin, and Senator Brian Pettyjohn, who will deliver the keynote speech.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, Delmarva. If you like parties, you're in for a treat. It was a dunk party in Cape Henlopen on Thursday night. Let's get into the second round playoff action. Kicking it off with Jordan Downing knocking down a deep three to give Cape an early lead in the first quarter, but AI DuPont would answer. Tyre Herring, that's a three to tie it at 3 in the first. Back and forth we go, but Steven Civils is going to dump it off to Braxton Figgs. This time he's going to lay it in. A little foreshadowing there. Here's the play of the game, though. Osmir backs into Jamison Tingle. The lob and the jam. 11-5 after this in the first quarter, but Jaleel Conrad knocks down the three. We're all tied. The Tigers are hanging around. It's 24 apiece, but then Civils, the spin, backs it inside. The finish gets it to go. Cape back up by 2 in the second quarter. Then Amir Robertson, that's a deep three to kick things off in the second half. We're tied at 31 in the third quarter, but then it got crazy. Jamison Tingle, that's a tough floater. 35-33, and then Civils gonna put it up, and the putback slam from Batson. And it's a 6-point lead for Cape, and then Downing up ahead, and Finks throws it down. Now the dunk party's in full swing. 9-point lead for the Vikings. Then Tingle on the break. Who's stopping that? 48-37 in the third quarter. Cape starting to pull away, and then how about this? That's just an impossible shot from Jordan Downing, knocking down the three at the end of the third. The Vikings would cruise when it's 73-55 to advance in the state playoffs. Delaware boys basketball is heating up, folks. It's getting fun out there. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 7, the Delaware Bluecoats host the Westchester Knicks. That's in NBA G League basketball. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign up to get a weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Hope you're having a good Friday so far here along coastal Delmarva. And if you join us today at 4 on Coast Life, here's what's coming your way. We're celebrating OC Film Festival at the Art League of Ocean City for the entire duration of the show. But we're also going to be doing our usual Friday things like the Pet of the Week. We're also going to be checking in with our friends at the Parker Group to see what's new with Archie. And of course, we're going to see some of the pretty cool displays here at the Art League of Ocean City. All of that and more is coming your way today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Well, we have a dreary Friday ahead of us here on Delmarva. Temperatures stuck in the 40s and 50s, but the good news is we rebound into the weekend, bumping those temperatures close to the 70-degree mark, and it gets even warmer into early next week. I'll have details next.
And the time's now 6:49 a.m. as we are taking a live look down to Laurel. Can't see much, Chris. Can't see much. No sunrise reveal today because of this fog, but it is important to check your individual school districts today. Some schools had initially reported that they were operating under a 2-hour delay when they are actually operating under normal school hours. So just be sure, check your children's list today before you head out the door. And Chris, we're looking at fog. We're looking at fog. We're looking at fog.
A lot of low clouds across the area this morning. Not as well, the fog not as widespread as what we had yesterday morning with it very dense. And this is an area that we've been seeing some patchy fog throughout Cambridge, portions of Dorchester County, where the temperature there is of 46 degrees. And you can see that fog over the Chesapeake Bay. And then as you make your way down through southern Worcester, down through Somerset and Accomack counties, seeing some fog in those areas. We still do have a dense marine fog advisory up for the Delaware coast. That runs through 10 o'clock this morning. We're holding at 42 in Georgetown, and you can see the wind flow beginning to come in out of the east, so that means an onshore wind. That's going to keep us pretty cool throughout the day today. We had a round of showers overnight. Those have since pushed offshore, and we are drying out. This pesky stalled out front is now pushed back to the south as a backdoor cold front, and that's allowing for the cool temperatures to stick around. So it's a cool, raw day on Delmarva. We do rebound by the weekend with temperatures approaching 70 degrees, and then the big warm-up comes next week. Some breaks in those clouds are possible across the southwest portion of the peninsula, but we stay pretty much locked in the cloud cover today, and it's going to be a cloudy start to the weekend. Onshore winds will continue through the day today and into the evening. As we go into tomorrow, they will begin slowly shifting out of the south-southwest. So we go from 44 Bethany, 46 Ocean Pines, 48 Vienna. Some areas across the southern midshore will reach the lower to mid-50s. So our weekend begins on a cloudy, foggy note, but by the afternoon we will begin to see partly cloudy skies. Then we run the risk of a shower late Saturday night, overnight into early Sunday morning as that cold front pushes through, and then we're looking at temperatures rebounding back to around 70 degrees. We lose an hour of sleep. Yes, the folks on the morning shift do not want to hear that as we go into Saturday night into Sunday. The good news is we're going to be getting more sunlight. Longer days ahead as we go into deeper into the springtime, and we are going to feel pretty much like spring as we go into early next week. We're going to be soaring into the 70s. Now, it will be a little cooler at the beaches next week, so keep that in mind, but we could be close to near record highs by Wednesday.
Thank you, Chris. And now looking across Delmarva, we're taking a look at hospital redevelopment in our area. Maryland Shore Regional Medical Center on Washington Street will be relocating. Officials say this 14-acre property where the current hospital is located is set to be sold. Easton Town leaders say no decisions have been made yet, and it will likely stay that way for a while.
We are aware of the importance of
particularly, the opportunity to redevelop a site of that size in such close proximity to our downtown. We don't see that every day, and most communities don't see anything like that.
The hospital relocation and the sale of the current property is not expected to happen until 2028. And the time is now 6:53 a.m. Matt Hensick, we're checking in with our coastal and adoptable pet of the day.
Yeah, every Friday we have this from the Brandywine Valley SPCA. So this hour we are highlighting Cranberry. Cranberry loves a good adventure, whether it's exploring the trails or playing in the snow. He is happy to be outside and in nature. So if you want to adopt Cranberry, we had Damien last hour. Head on over to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
Matt, did you know it's actually a common school of thought that dogs that have one ear folded are a sign of good luck?
Oh,
there you go.
Did not know that.
Our lucky friend Cranberry over here will be extra lucky if one of our lovely viewers adopted him. And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos, tell us what makes them so special if you take a look at your screen now.
Yeah, scan that QR code at the top there to get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
New this morning, one person from Delmarva is getting a feel for the national stage.
Great story here. Heidi Schmeckel of Salisbury will compete on Jeopardy tonight, Grace.
And you can see a picture of Heidi here at the game show. She is standing next to host Ken Jennings.
And all the information you need to watch and support her is right here on your screen. Jeopardy airs on CoastTV at 7:30 p.m.
And we have cloudy skies for our Friday, a gloomy day with a persistent onshore wind that's going to keep those temperatures really in the upper 40s at the beaches, lower to mid 50s across the mid shore. And then we are going to rebound over the weekend, 70 into Saturday. Overnight into Sunday, we see a shower chance with a cold front. And then there's that nice warmth there into early next week. Cooler at the beaches, though, and we do cool down next week with a cold front pushing through.
Thank you, Chris. Looking forward to those warmer temperatures,
yes,
Matt.
Indeed, yep.
Well, thank you for joining us for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage, you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps, and have a great Friday morning, everybody.